explosive Seth Rich investigation concludes, not a random homicide but committed by a hired killer. After a 3-month review and investigation into the death of Seth Rich, Profiling Project notes the following. 1. Seth's death does not appear to be a random homicide. 2. Seth's death does not appear to be a robbery gone bad. 3. Seth's death was more likely committed by a hired killer or serial murderer. 4. There may be additional video surveillance of the crime and crime scene. 5. The resolution of prosecuting the individuals responsible appears to be hindered both actively and passively. 6. Seth's killer most likely remains free within the community. What is significant from the report is that the attack was almost statistically impossibility, that it was a random attack, and that the perpetrator had to be rather sophisticated. Several non-routine events had to occur exactly as they did to place Seth Rich at the scene of the crime at the exact time when interaction with the offender could occur. We may never know why Seth was targeted for attack, but we do know that so many non-routine events had to take place prior that the interaction that it was not statistically random. The crime scene does not appear to have any behavior by the offender to give insight into why the killer shot Seth. If offender actively managed the crime scene, intentionally leaving no evidence or insight, offender may be an experienced, sophisticated criminal with in-depth knowledge of law enforcement procedures. Such an offender would lend to the notion that Seth was targeted, as the experienced criminal would leave little to chance. On July 8, 2016, 27-year-old Democratic staffer Seth Conrad Rich was murdered in Washington, D.C. The killer or killers took nothing from their victim, leaving behind his wallet, watch and phone and jewelry. Shortly after the killing, Redditors and social media users were pursuing a lead saying that Rich was en route to the FBI the morning of his murder, apparently intending to speak to special agents about an ongoing court case possibly involving the Clinton family. Seth Rich's father, Joel, told reporters, "If it was a robbery, it failed because he still had his watch, he still had his money, he still had his credit cards, still had his phone, so it was a wasted effort, except we lost a life." The Metropolitan Police posted a reward for information on Rich's murder. Seth Rich's murder was officially labeled as a mugging gone wrong by police. However, Rich's watch, wallet, and other personal effects were untouched by the assailant, leading many to believe that his demise was purely due to his involvement in the takedown of Hillary Clinton. Since, we have discovered that Rich was leaking documents to Julian Assange of WikiLeaks. There were a lot of them, 53,000 emails and 17,000 attachments. They were damaging to the DNC, Hillary Clinton, and many others on the liberal side of the spectrum. He had to be stopped. In August, WikiLeaks offered a $20,000 reward for information on the murder of DNC staffer Seth Rich. Julian Assange has also stated multiple times that Seth Rich was the WikiLeaks informant. Many believe that 27-year-old Seth Rich discovered that Hillary Clinton stole the election and donors from Bernie Sanders. Clinton committed allegedly major voter fraud using the NGVN and the DNC. Seth Rich, director of voter expansion for the DNC, found out about Clinton's voter fraud. He was a potential witness to testify in a case filed by Jared Beck on behalf of residents in 45 states. It is also speculated that Sean Lucas, the DNC lawsuit process server, was also killed for similar reasons: knowledge of Clinton's alleged voter fraud and alleged misappropriation of funds from Bernie Sanders supporters. Also murdered this past year was Bernard Wiseman, a lawyer in Miami. His body turned up on a beach in Hollywood. He was investigating voter and visa fraud. Coincidence? Seems like anyone involved in the investigation of voter fraud and the DNC doesn't live to talk about it. The total reward for solving Rich's murder currently stands at approximately $500,000. In addition to WikiLeaks' reward, One American News Network is offering $100,000. The D.C. Metropolitan Police Department is offering $25,000. Businessman and investor Martin Shkreli is offering $100,000. Jack Berkman, the head of a team of investigators searching for Rich's killers, is offering $105,000. Seth Rich injuries were not life-threatening, so how did he die in the hospital? Why is there no death certificate? Why is there no autopsy? And just why did Seth have bruises to his face and hands? Why did two bodies turn up dead on a beach in South Carolina the following day? A big question is, why was the owner of Lou's Bar at the White House just a few days before Seth was murdered? Why was Robert Creamer also at the White House on the same day?